That's what you doing?
How you been? How you been, brother?
I've been alright, man.
Took a week off.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Took a whole week off. Oh, you mean we just like, nah, we not doing this.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Not
Life
today,
happened.
sir.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today. It's weird trying to it's like you try to be a personality for anime niggas and you realize like I'm a whole person outside of this.
Yes, I am.
Like, I gotta be.
What did I tell myself when I started?
Yeah.
I still want to enjoy it.
Well, no, you what you said was you gotta be black first.
I don't think that's hard to really like.
Oh man.
All right. We got no more bullshit. We got a special guest in the building.
What's up, guys?
We got the one and only nutype Tim, everybody.
Yo, what's up?
Properly pronounced nutype.
Properly
Tim.
pronounced. I had to put a period in my
Not-
name, so I
not-
wasn't called Nutty Type.
Not nutty tight.
I saw that you
Yeah.
put the period.
I had to.
in
I was
Not-
like, no, we're gonna put a fucking
Not
period in
nudie. Not
Not
nudie.
nudie?
Nudie
Yeah.
P.
Yeah. Nudie. I'm like, yo, do you
Nudie
people
P.
not also watch the fucking anime? Because it's literally it's new type, just playing on the words of it.
Didn't see that one.
I know.
I didn't see that.
When
anime.
it's put in your face, I kind of did that on purpose, but then I got tired of being called Nutty Type, so I'm like, fuck it. I had my entire team change all of our names to New Type now, so it's like a badass, sort of like a gang now.
Yeah.
It's like you type in New Type, we all fucking pop
nutype mob, not ASAP.
Ex-
no more.
exactly.
It's-
Exactly. And then we got a project that we're working on afterwards too, Project New Type. So that's where we
Oh man.
roll with that. Yeah.
What? How
Yeah.
come we weren't so organized?
Huh?
Because I'm a fuck.
'Cause it's two
I'm
niggas, that's
crazy.
why.
Like nerds. That's what.
Oh,
I'm,
like, yeah.
just
Nah, I
why did it take until now?
Internet. Niggas got the internet.
Jesus
That's
man.
what happened.
Oh my god.
yo.
We finally unlocked the internet, and it was
I'm
a
also
wrap.
insane with like shit that I do. So it took us like a while to sit down and come up with a name. So it was a funny story how I hired my entire team. I got them all fucking drunk at a bar.
Okay. Well, let's take us back before
Yeah.
that. How did you even get into the field that you're into?
Yeah. What is the field that you're into for those who haven't looked up
yeah.
Type 10 yet?
So for New Type, Project New Type, I'm New Type Tim, obviously. What I do essentially is just I build model kits. I customize stuff. We also integrate a lot of events with people and things like that. So really what I do in holistic sense, I like to take niche communities and bring them together, especially with like people who are separated. Let's take like the tabletop community. They do a bit more, in-person stuff, but the Gundam community and a lot of that like painting and model kit community is very solo and siloed to themselves.
you do it in your own room. Like we got buddies who paint models. So it's like you kind of just do it by yourself.
Exactly. So I think for me, the big thing, I'm a huge social person. So I used to work at lounges in New York City.
Really?
No, not at all. If you didn't tell, I might be a little bit more social
Tim,
than
you
the
telling me you build models with a personality?
So that's the shit that threw people off, like the first time. Like that's where a lot of my Gundam feuds came in. like, oh fuck this guy, he's got a fucking personality. We can't do this shit anymore. I was like, oh, you people fucking suck. Like how do I move myself away? But it was actually interesting. Like the first 2 years that I was in the hobby, I was like getting like dragged through these different like Gundam groups. I'm like, you're all really boring. I don't want to hang out with any of you people. I want niggas that look like me at the end of the day. I want some Spanish kids. I want some fucking hot chicks too that are gonna come through and pull up at the event.
Good
So
luck
I'm
with
like,
that.
you know what's funny? We've
doing the Lord's works.
We've been getting a lot more women at our events recently. But the main point too was just like, I want people that I interact with through the day to day. I enjoy it. I'm good at building. I like it. But just because I'm good at building doesn't mean that I have to be around other people who are good at building that I don't like.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What makes you good at building?
What makes me good at building is the ability to like customize. So it's what you look at a model kit, you'll probably go through sanding it, making it like perfectly smooth, or you might not even sand it. But I get meticulous with every fucking piece that I take. So if you look at one of my model kits, my thought process is, how do I make you think that this thing came out of the box already assembled rather than me putting it together? And then after that, I'll think about what do I think are the issues that are wrong with this kit and how do I make it better? So for a type A personality like me, it's fucking perfect to do. I'm just like, all right, I can fix you. This is my project.
I think that was my thing with model kits. I never took it to the next step.
Yeah.
I always made it, and then I was like, why don't it look like the box? This
Yeah,
shit,
exactly.
everything's monocolored.
Yeah.
I ain't know I had to paint this shit.
Just
I didn't know it was just
Just
flat, matte black. I'm like, wait a minute, this thing's supposed to have
Even when I
colors.
seen him paint it, I was like, wow, this is not a good job. Like, it's not smooth.
Yo.
Coat's not even. This is.
There's some sand grits in there.
Exactly, you got like this gritty shit. So it's funny, like even now, I think you guys saw last night. I posted the that Digivice that I did.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I actually-
That's a random thing to see on the feed.
yeah. So my boy Levi hit me up and he was like, "Yo, man, like I want to walk around with this Digivice hanging around on the side of my pants, but it looks like shit. Can you do like a scratch-proof paint?" So I was like, you know what? Looking at this Digivice, it looked like shit when he gave it to me. The color didn't look good. I was like, yo, why don't we do an actual Digivice? So to your point of sanding, I took the sanding paper and actually sanded it so it looks like it has scuffs of metal in it too. And then I did the silver on top of it like that, and then did that red, that candy red over it. So for me, that's when I look at model kits and I go, yo, how do I make this something that would be in real life? If you're about to go out in the digital world and you gotta fuck some monster up, you got to know, like, this is what it would look like. It'd be scuffed up.
It doesn't look like a toy. Like,
Exact-
it doesn't look like a toy, which is like that opposite side.
Exactly.
It's like, shit looks shiny and plastic. Like,
Yeah.
nah, that's not what I'm... that's
Exactly.
not what I'm
I don't want it to look like plastic anymore. I want it to look like essentially a piece of art or something that's actually functional within the world too. So I think it's pretty cool to like do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where
All right.
that's where it all goes.
All right.
You a native here in New York? Or
Yes.
you? Okay.
I'm a native New Yorker from Westchester, Mount Vernon. So
Okay.
still born and raised there, right in Mount Vernon, Yonkers area. And I've been here all my life.
What was that like discovering your nerd culture
It
here in the
was
Mecca?
difficult, as you guys can attest to probably as well. Oh, you like hentai? Oh, you like those big anime boobs? Like, no, man. Like,
Of course I do.
It's like you're saying no to people, then you're just like on the side. But yeah, it was hard because like, especially where I grew up. Like I grew up in Westchester, predominantly white area. I went to fucking Catholic schools and private schools all my life. So not only was I the token black kid everywhere that I went, but then I was a token black kid that liked the Asian stuff too.
Three
That-
stops away.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like sitting around, always just like whatever. So for me, it was kind of hard because it's like, you know, how do I continue to be cool with all the black kids that don't want to say that they actually still like anime, who are in these private schools, but also still be myself? So I was pretty siloed to a lot of the stuff that I did and kind of did it by myself. So like the Gundam stuff I've been doing since I was about 15. So I would just buy the model kits and build them. Nobody knew that I did it. I was a swimmer in high school, so it's like, oh, he's just an athlete. I could draw. I was like, I was doing all this stuff for like sketching stuff out for the Gundams, but it was almost like my secret double life. Like when I shut the door to my room, it's like, all right, cool. Here are my nippers. Let me start fucking putting shit together and watching anime.
I can't front. I can't front. I felt official when I ordered like tools for a kid. I got addicted to Master Grade.
Yeah, they're like, let's talk about that for a second. That's a whole different thing that
I got addicted to Master Grade. I was like, no, it can't just be my hands now.
You gotta,
I need tools.
yeah.
too many pieces.
Not just
I
snapping
mean-
shit together. No,
No,
more.
they're ball joints.
Yeah.
There's an exoskeleton going on.
Exactly. You
Like
gotta-
there's screws with this.
and if you don't sand things perfectly or cut it out perfectly, shit just won't fit.
Yeah.
Won't fit.
I oversanded something and I can tell. I mean, you can't. Nobody else can tell. But I can tell. Like,
Like,
I
it
took
irks
too much
you
off
too.
the top.
on the
I
left,
took
I was
too
just
much. I
like,
fucked this
damn,
up.
there's a dent in the. I can't fix this.
No, you can fix that.
Really?
You can fix it. You fix it with putty.
Oh.
Fill it back in and then sand it back down until it's smooth and evened out.
Wow.
See, professional builder, man.
Damn,
That's what I
dog.
do. Get some.
All right. So this is something you've always done. You've
Yeah.
been into. How did you find the groups in here in New York?
So like 15. So I took a bit of time off when obviously went to college. I wasn't bringing any of that stuff with me, and I weirdly, funny enough, got kicked out of college. So I came back home, and
Nice.
after that,
Nice.
I remember I was working like a lifeguard job.
happened?
Oh, what happened? Man,
Yeah, I want.
Man, I was drinking, joined a fraternity when I wasn't supposed to. I was like, fuck this. I went to SUNY Geneseo all the way upstate. I did not want to be there. I was also a biochemical engineering major.
See that, people? You can be in the nerd shit and be just out here, reckless.
He's trying to build a Gundam core.
Exactly. I was literally out here like, all right, how do I make Gundarium out of these two metals and put them together, but organic chemistry? And I was like, fuck.
Yo, this nigga took a trip to Japan and helped them build it. I know that you.
I wanted my what is it, the Guyver suit. I was trying to make some organic fucking suit, come back, fuck people up in New York City. Like,
some battle armor.
Exactly.
Some battle armor.
What do you know?
I wanted some organic battle armor.
What are they preparing for?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. We'll talk after. We can. This is going on the internet.
Nigga, I seen Pacific Rim. I know it's
Right?
partially a
This
documentary.
is going on the internet. We can't let people know yet. We got COVID
We'll
already.
bleep this out.
It's the next. Look. I'm preparing for the next thing after COVID, guys. No, we'll cut this out afterwards.
Jesus Christ. The next thing.
The next thing, yes.
Oh, man.
Right. But yeah, I was in like fraternity. I quit my swim team, which I got recruited to swim for, because I was like, wow, there are women out here again, and I don't have to worry about swimming 24 hours of my life anymore. And I came back home and I was like, all right, cool, I can build again. And I had an apartment at the time. I was like, oh, sweet, I can do this in my own little like world now, where I don't have to hear anybody say, stop building, go to bed. I'm like, all right, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm doing more shit. Fuck, I should probably go to sleep because I think I have work tomorrow. So shit like that. And, you know, it really started moving forward. And then for me, my actual job, my actual career, I work in advertising. So my specialty is in social media. So I work for TikTok now and I do all that fun shit. But I really started working a lot with like, how do you get people to be popular in social media? So funny enough, years later, this is like years down the road, I was working at Disney and I fucking hated the job. Disney's awful. Don't ever work there.
Hey,
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you though. I have yeah, but
You're not gonna talk about Japan. You're gonna talk about Disney.
No. Real quick, yeah.
But I've heard the horror stories.
Yeah, it's horror story.
I've heard the horror stories.
But to that, it kind of falls in line of where this went. So I started like a company where I was actually creating social media influencers, and my first client was actually John Wick's stunt double. So I'm chatting with the dude, and I'm a nobody. I'm a kid at the time. I'm like 23 or 24, and he's like, yo, you got to prove to me that you know how to actually do this before I give you the password to my account, take over all this stuff. And he was like, build something that you could do. And I was like, oh, I got a bunch of Gundam model kits at home. I'll go and, you know, throw a name up. I was actually Gundam NYC at the time. I was like, oh, I'll throw that up and I'll do maybe 1,000 people in a week. I was like, all right, sweet. Get 1,000 people in a week, show the guy, got him as a client. And I was like, oh, let's just log in. I've got like 3,000 people off like 7 posts in like 2 weeks. I'm like, there might be something here. Like maybe I should keep doing this and start doing it on social media. And it was funny. Like at first I was like, yeah, there are a lot of white kids who are doing this, where I'm just like, do I really want to show my face right now as a black guy going into this whole space? Will I be received well to it? So I was like, let's make that a fun reveal once I hit like, 5,000 people. And I hit it, and like it was funny because like at first, I saw every brother on this fucking post like, yes, a black guy, yes, fucking right, we got a black man. They were like, yes, a fucking black man. And the post that I did, it was actually in Japan, so that's how we go back to the Japan story. Wow. I went to Japan right before they took down the RX-78 to replace it with the unicorn, and that
just the statue, like just the monument, not the functional.
Yeah. So no, the functional one, the one right outside of Gundam base.
How was it function? How was that more functional than
it? Just steamed out the back.
Got you.
Yes, that was the only function.
Yeah, no,
this one now, it's just that RX-78 is. That's what I'm actually planning for with the like techno organic shit. I'm trying to like implement that into the Yokohama one, so I can go and fight a kaiju that's coming in like maybe 3 to 4 weeks. So just heads up, you might.
That's what I know.
Want to be away from any.
It's on the way, man.
Yeah.
Why else would Japan be doing it?
You got to think like they're building a lot of robots in Japan right now. They also gave China one too. And where does Pacific Rim happen mainly? In China.
Right?
And they just announced a new one too, another new Gundam in Japan. So I'm like,
they prepping. We're late.
Sun beaming.
I'm waiting for one to be right here in Times Square.
It's gonna be the shittiest Gundam. We're gonna have a Zappa.
No.
No.
They're not gonna give us a Zappa.
Gundam's gonna have a fuck nigga back.
No. They're gonna give us the Neo Netherlands shit with the fucking fan on its chest.
The New York Gundam gonna have to use a Metro card
to get to his own spot every fucking day.
Just to start up, somebody got to swipe his ass.
$275 just to get him.
That nigga be right there at the waterfront. I get a swipe. Somebody give me with a swipe, please. So
I gotta save the city, please. Somebody help me.
The city.
Oh my gosh, man.
But yeah.
So you did a reveal that basically it's like, hey, like I'm a brother doing this. You probably did. I guess it was just like hands or something. I guess when you were doing the models, or were you just showcasing?
I just showcased the models for the longest time, and for me, I was just like, what I started seeing in like this Gundam community was just an annoying fact of like no one's taking credit for what they do. You're not seeing the face behind the person who's doing this amazing work. Yeah. And there was one other girl she's actually from the Netherlands, and Jan Coco. And she was showing herself. She's like this really pretty blonde chick. And like I was like, oh shit, if she's doing this and getting all this like attention from it, I might as well do it too. So I would say she's probably the first like Gundam influencer without trying to be it, just because it's easy for a pretty girl on social media to do it. But for me, I was like, yo, let's try to really focus on how do we consider influencer in a niche community, in a niche space like this for Gundam, and how can we meld that together? So I started doing a lot of like the Gundam selfies and stuff like that, and can I tell you, that shit spiraled real quick. Like I got a lot of fucking attention from it and a lot of hate at the same time because I started using bad words like influencer and making money in the Gundam community, and people were like, whoa, slow your fucking roll, buddy, slow your roll.
You only spend it over here.
Exactly. It was like, it's like I had to swipe my own Metro card for my own fucking shit right now, because I'm just like, I had people bitching because I was buying too many model kits at one point. I was like,
time out. That's a problem? I thought that was a goal.
Exactly. Yeah.
I thought so too, but it was a little weird. A little weird at a point where it's like, oh, you just need to be building, stop spending so much on model kits. I was like, what the fuck is your problem that you got an issue with me showing a backlog off?
There's rules to Gunpla.
Oh,
I can see that though. It's the same in like any art form where it's just like, it's about the craft, but it's like, yeah, but you're trying to get bread too, right?
Exactly.
Like, I thought we was in here trying to make this happen.
This is a replica from a cartoon.
Exactly. So you know what the worst thing about the Gundam community is that not only do we...
I would have never thought I would hear that sentence. Ever in my life.
Yeah.
Do you know what's the worst part about the Gundam community?
Is that not only do we have the anime purists, but then we also have the model kit purists. At least there are only one set of purists that you have to worry about in non-building forms. But I've now got to fucking worry about both the builders, and if I say something wrong about an anime, they're going to come at my neck.
Name checkers,
exactly.
Everything, fact checkers. We deal with that a lot because it's like we're here to make jokes. Sometimes
this is why I don't cram a bunch of anime. I don't binge a bunch of anime. I don't really keep up with the stuff that everybody else watch.
Neither do I
stick to my guns and I explore outside of that.
That's
it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to hear my honest opinions about whatever your favorite anime is. Right?
No.
You don't.
No.
You're not gonna like
no.
Something I made myself catch up on. I'm telling y'all, you don't. You don't. I'm telling you don't.
It's not what you're going to like.
Come on. I'm watching Black Clover right now. I'm just like, whoo, man, I've been very quiet for a very long time.
I will say.
I already said I gave up 12 episodes in. I'm like, this ain't it.
I watched up to like 120 something just because I
used the whole show.
Yeah, damn near the whole show. But a lot of it was like just background music. But when they got into certain fight scenes, I'm like, all right, this is kind of cool. This kind of, but it's so reminiscent of so many other animes that I'm just like, it's like an amalgamation of everything.
For me, it's just only
which is this new generation anyway. Yeah. It's all hybrids.
Yeah.
The only thing that I see in it, which is just current, is like, all right, shonen, try hard, boy, spiky hair, always screaming.
Yeah.
Cool. I've been watching that for years. I'm like, but what do they do in the show? And then once they kept focusing on
Asta.
No, just Yuno.
Oh yeah.
When it was just Asta on screen, I'm like, I can fuck with this. And that's how it's been for the past like 15 episodes. Like once he got his arms like busted and he was getting them healed, just nothing, no Yuno, no pretty boy, just Asta screaming and then doing dumb shit. I'm like, yes, this is the show.
This is what I was raised on. This is what I know.
And then what happened? You got a power up reveal at the end of it. I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it.
They fuck it up.
Don't.
They fuck it up for a few episodes. For quite a few episodes.
Like it got really good. Also, too, it got spoiled for me in the anime. Like some part when they were fighting that like man beast guy.
Oh
like,
yeah, that was good.
Like that got spoiled for me. So I was like, I've seen this already. I had to like force myself.
So
to
then I
watch
gotta
it.
ask, what's your opinion on Jujutsu Kaisen?
I'm like on episode 3.
Okay, so that one, it is a very, not rip-off, but it is very similar to Naruto, but obviously he says that Bleach was a lot and a big
It
inspiration.
looks like
Yeah.
Bleach.
And it is
Bleach
very,
and Naruto mixed.
yeah, with like the cursed spirits being hollows and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
great. But what I will say about that show, because I've read the entire manga up until the point right now, next season will I personally think next season for Jujutsu Kaisen will make it its own show where people will stop saying, "Oh, it's just Team 3 with Kakashi with blindfolded."
The show,
Or Team 7.
The manga been hyped since like I want to say like the beginning of 2020. Like constantly seeing it, people talk about it more. That Chainsaw Man, like Kaiju number 8.
I'm reading Chainsaw. I don't like Kaiju number 8, honestly. I've been reading it. It's a little.
It's kind of just fun,
Yeah,
for the
it's.
most part. Like it's a only like 5 chapters in.
I want something that's gonna make me have to go to a therapist and both fucking
Alright.
Chainsaw Man. And, I told you I'm great. I told you
Okay,
about it.
all right,
No.
all right.
But yeah, no.
Yeah.
The,
I get it.
No, I know. What we're talking. Yeah,
No.
you liked Promised Neverland,
I want,
right? You like-
yeah, I love.
Yeah.
I hated the anime. But I like that dark story where it really does dig down deep to like an actual psyche of a person. So Chainsaw Man does it in an interesting way, but Jujutsu Kaisen did it so well, and I don't want to spoil anything, but the next season really digs into like what it means to fucking give everything out there, like put it all out on the line and things like that. And I think mangas like that are really cool, and to tie it into what I do, that's why I love Gundam, truthfully. Because when looking at Gundam, a lot of the time, there are no such things as bad guys in Gundam. You know, yes, in the very first...
Just 2 opposing sides.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
There's shitty people on both sides. And I really love that look as like it's just sort of like that fundamental of what I think most shows should be, is that there's no such thing as a bad guy, but there are bad people on both sides doing bad things, and those are the people that are causing the issue.
Yeah.
Wayne would catch my attention like that. Like I was definitely a child, like 4th, 5th grade at the most, watching that show and not knowing what the fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
like it's still like bringing me. I'm like this
exactly.
Yeah.
I think
different.
for younger kids, like for us, when we were watching like Toonami and stuff like that, watching Gundam Wing, it was really cool. It was confusing for us to watch it because we didn't know whether to like the Epion, Tallgeese, because they were both doing good and bad things.
Right.
And then you literally had the 5 main characters terrorists in Gundam
Yeah,
Wing.
yeah.
Like, they are terrorists. And even better, one of my favorite Gundam series by far, and I will argue with people to the death, is Gundam 00. So Gundam 00, for, people are like, oh, you're thinking too deep into this. No. At the time that Gundam 00 came out was when we were like in the height of like the Iraq War. So that came out in like 2008. This is when a lot of stuff was going on with like, everything overseas, overthrowing countries. And the main
Saddam Tower, all that.
Exactly.
All that
So
shit, yeah.
Saddam had just fallen and things like that. And the amazing thing about Gundam and Setsuna, a lot of people laugh. They're like, oh, Setsuna says he wants to be a Gundam. And you'll see like on threads, they're just like, oh, he wants to fuck his Gundam. Because he's like, I want to be a Gundam. It's
Jesus Christ.
yeah. And I'm like, no, you're just being an idiot thinking about it too solidly. So
Sounds like Reddit.
it is
Yeah,
Reddit.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Reddit says it all the time. So what you look at in Gundam 00 and what makes it such a beautiful series is that Setsuna, the main character, is from the Middle East. He's from this place called Azatistan, which is actually mirrored off of a country called Kurdistan that we had dissolved as the United States for oil. And, Setsuna went out and fought this religious war that was actually about oil, but he was told by the guy Alias Sanchez, if you ever watched the show, he was a PMC. He was essentially a mercenary that started this war, and he told him, God wants you to kill these people. God wants you to take over this world. And to that, what was really,
See?
which is amazing about the series is
But
that
it's a cartoon, right?
It's a
Every
fucking,
Gundam-
and it's a
See what I mean?
cartoon.
That's
yeah.
what I'm talking
Gundam
about.
show does that shit. It's
Yeah.
a child,
Yeah.
and it's just a fate of
Yeah.
like a war. It's placed on his shoulders. What do we
Yeah.
need
Exactly.
to do?
And then what the greatest thing about that show is that him saying that he wants to be a Gundam really isn't about him being weird about the Gundam. It's that he replaced his own god with the Gundam, because now instead of listening to this person, he's now listening to himself throughout or using the actions of the Gundam to now completely eliminate war on his own basis, rather than continuing war and continuing that cycle. So he becomes like a symbolic gesture of like Jesus or God at the end when he
bumps
becomes
Kanye's "I Am a God."
exactly.
Boom, I am a god.
So I think that's such an amazing series, because one, it's self-contained, it's easy to watch, and the second one, another self-contained one, is Iron-Blooded Orphans.
That's on the list.
Yeah. When I say
I've seen it on a list before.
when you want to talk about series that really perpetuates there's no such thing as a good person or a bad person, that's the series that you should watch. And I think as an anime fan, I think like there are a lot of shitty mecha shows out there that people are like, oh, I'm gonna go watch Darling in the Franxx. Watch the first like 5 episodes, you'll be happy with it. But like IBO and 00 for me, 00 might be a little weird for people if you don't dig as deep into it or understand what like Gundam really goes into. But IBO was just like, holy shit, again, kids in a war-torn area.
Yeah.
And they get dragged into a war that all they want is to be free. They're essentially,
Of course,
they're slaves in the show to like, they are slaves, what they are, and they get that freedom and they're trying to move themselves up. So it's a very black story told through these mecha series. And that's what I fucking love about it, is that for me, somebody who's trying to make that money and get up there, it's really cool to see that story and you can put yourself into it. And it's really, it's amazing to watch it. And that one is really great because it shows that not all good intentions lead to the best ends either. So
man.
So you liked Gundam the show before you ended up finding out about models, or did you know that models existed at the time? Or,
yeah.
For me, it was like I found out about Zoids models before I found out about Zoids. So like that was kind of like my thing with like models. Something.
Yeah. So I found out about the anime before the model kits. So my uncle knew that I liked the anime, and he had taken a trip to Japan like. Even when I was a kid, maybe like I think the first model kit I really got was when I was like 5, but then I never touched it until like 15.
Damn.
But yeah, because it was like the really shitty, because they weren't really made here. Like, so there were like spurts of me building, so that's a lie. So like the first one I got maybe when I was like 5 or 6 or around that area, around that time. And then when G Gundam came out, that's when that whole explosion of those kits were coming out, when Toys R Us was still in Times Square.
Target had them.
Yeah, Target had them too. Yeah. And then it kind of disappeared, which that's an interesting story too. Is that Toys R Us actually fucked up Gundam in America, because they were buying these kits in bulk, and Bandai wasn't making a return on them because they were selling them at less of a price afterwards, and they weren't buying as much because they weren't coming off the shelves. So Bandai had assumed that they were going to keep doing these huge purchases, and they were putting all this stuff out, and they were like, yeah, fuck that, we're not going to go and show people Gundam anymore. If that's why it disappeared from from probably like 2004 to 2009 when Sci-Fi brought Gundam 00. We did not see a Gundam series, even though there were still Gundam series going on.
And I was wondering about why like there was that sort of like disappearance for me. Similar
just
with, like,
could
One
not.
Piece or anything.
For me, it was just where are all the models at?
Yeah, well,
you got they transferred it for like toys. I remember they had like the Gundam toys, but then I was like, I remember seeing above the toys they had the model kits. They were in plastic. They was like, oh, those look cool.
So the first model kit came out in like, I want to say, like in the 80s, but when we want to talk about model kits, I talk about like the introduction to high grades and things like that. So the first high grade I think came out in like 1995 or 6. I'm probably gonna get fact checked on that, but came out in the early to late 90s or mid to late 90s. And then throughout all that, there were still model kits being built or made in that time for the Japanese audience, but we were just not seeing it. Because everybody they were doing other things. Tabletop was huge at the time, Dungeons and Dragons. So Bandai was just like, fuck it. We don't really need an American market. But now with the resurgence of just streaming sites, now we see there's literally a Gunpla shortage right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's literally a Gunpla shortage. That there are now scalpers in the Gundam community, or just random people scalping shit.
Me getting back into it last year, and like just looking up models. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I want to like somebody might just have it on their site. It's like, nope, you gotta go to eBay, and it's like $150.
Or pulling up to these like places we've gone. Like we'll do these like just meetups where we'll hang and go like check out toy shops and like comic book stuff. a lot of these things are going like you see them on the shelf. It's like the lowest one is at least $50.
Yep.
I'm just like, damn.
Yeah.
They're super hard to find now, and that's exactly why I buy them as soon as they come out. Because I'm just like, what's $100 right now for 4 of these kits when I know in 3 weeks it's gonna be $400
Yeah.
for probably one of them at this point.
Yeah.
So I remember,
especially once I found out they got the Kamen Rider kits. That's all I was like, this is dangerous.
Kamen Rider kits are fun. They're fast builds too. Those are hard to find too now.
I found a spot in Chinatown.
I can give you
Found a spot in
so we don't
Chinatown.
blow it up on the mic right now and people don't go and buy them out. But check Gundam Pros. So I really like to order from online stores because what I find a lot of the Chinatown stores do is that you're going to pay an even higher markup. Great, yeah, to support local business, but it's also still a pandemic.
Yeah.
Times are tight.
Times are still tight with
Times are
money.
tight. I got you.
It's like me looking at his inventory was like, you focus on like anime stuff.
Yeah.
So he goes this shop in China.
Yeah, no, yep.
So like I'm like, all right, you got a couple kits, but it's like you got a fucking Metal Garurumon, you got a Greymon, you got some Godzilla stuff in there, some Ultraman.
The shop is a spot that I buy cards from. That's how I would support them. But knowing that I can find model kits cheaper other places, I'm just like
his inventory is the only one I've seen like that. Everyone else is like they got 3 or 4 of the same kits, and
the one that used to be really good was Midtown, but then they decided just to like get rid of their entire
Midtown Comics.
Yeah,
they don't have they got me hyped because I walked last time I went in there. There was a master grade Master Gundam from G Gundam.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you got like China Gundam and the other ones? It was like,
They hired us. They hired Project Nutypes to do an event there, and like none of them know anything about model kits. They're just comic books, and they were just like, we didn't know there was a huge showing for this. I'm like, bro, you redid your entire top floor of model kits, and you think there's not not a market for it? Like, the one thing I will say that I loved about Midtown is that I got that Neo Zeong. I don't know if you've seen Gundam Unicorn.
I don't think I have.
It was like a big
It's a big red. It's this big red mobile suit that another mobile suit goes inside.
Yeah, it's like a Zaku's like flying armor and shit.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up. I bought this thing for maybe.
I never finished Unicorn. Jesus Christ.
It's Unicorns. I would
like
say it's
movies.
mid.
Yeah.
It's mid.
It was so much dialogue. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. So the thing with Unicorn is that you really need to understand a lot of the backstory of that shit because it's
I didn't even know there was continuity.
Yeah, there is a lot.
Yeah.
There is like years worth of continuity in Unicorn and also in the new one that came out on Netflix in Hathaway's Flash. So
what's for people who maybe even want to get interested in the show, what would you consider like their path of watching? Like what should they start with? What should they go
I've
with?
seen that.
Yeah.
So real quick,
And he got the Adidas tech suit on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I bought that. That thing is going for $1,000 now, and I bought it for $150 like years ago. But yeah. To your question of where to start, so Funimation, which is probably now Crunchyroll too, has the Mobile Suit Gundam series. So that one you want to start with because that gives you
the original one.
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry, I'm even messing up myself here. You actually have to start if you're thinking about the Universal Century timeline, which is the one with like Char and shit like that. You have to start with the prequel for like Char, the Gundam Origin. Then you go into the actual original Gundam series. And then in between that, there's like War in the Pocket, and a few other Stardust Memories. Then after that, you go into Zeta, Double Zeta, and then
Quite the poetic titles these Gundam series.
Yeah.
They are. A lot of the mobile suit names too are quite poetic as well too. Like when you look at a
Tall
lot of
Geese.
Tall Geese. Yeah.
Tall that. But the actual in that series though, they're all based. The grunt suits are all based off of zodiac signs. That's
Taurus model. Forgot the other
Taurus. What do you call it? That's all like Greek stuff.
Because they had like there was like a land, aerial, and
so Oz,
Aqua. Yeah.
So they had Taurus.
Aquatic.
They had the Mercury, the Vade, the.
And then like their prototype
Virgo.
high grade like Gundams, but it was like red and blue.
Yep.
One was
the Mercury and the Vade.
it's
I got it all up here. That's
All of
weird,
this.
weird knowledge of model.
Dog, it's the
And
thing.
nothing
It's like
else.
nobody.
Nothing-
yeah.
Nothing.
and
This
nothing
and
else.
song lyrics from 1998. It's just like, what the fuck am I doing?
I
Like,
sit there, somebody's like, yo, you know the blue one with the extra arms? I'm like, oh, yeah, the Toad Ritter.
Yeah.
The Toad Shredder. Yeah, I like know just random model kits that people are like, what the fuck?
That's how I am with Kamen Rider stuff.
I know.
When I see it,
Yeah, it's exactly, you could probably tell the belts right away. Oh, yeah, that's so-and-so.
it's like that's the K touch. Like,
It's-
is that the K? He has the K touch. Damn, how much that cost you, homie?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, damn.
Shit, yeah. So it's crazy with that. But what I love about Gundam is that you can also do the alternative universes. So like Gundam Seed, which not my favorite series. That one everybody can skip personally.
I think I remember watching some of Seed.
Yes,
I think I've watched. For me, I believe it's like probably half of almost everyone. Like whenever one came out, like I would just watch half of it. And
be like, all right, I'm done.
I don't know what it was like. I was always there for it, and then I was just like, cool. And I did like the models,
Yeah.
and then I was just like, I guess I was always just flopping back. I was like, all right, let's see what Dragon Ball Z up to. Let's see what.
Honestly, with Gundam, it's if you're looking at like the Universal Century stuff, like I said, there's a lot of backstory to that.
Yeah.
That's why I think like 00, IBO, and Seed are really good series because you don't need any backstory. The world built for you. Seed tried too hard to be thought provoking.
But it had a cool Gundam with.
They have the best Gundam designs.
with the solar can with the what was it, panels on the back.
No, that's Gundam X.
That's
It's Gundam X.
never mind.
You're thinking of
that.
the Freedom Gundam.
Never mind.
Probably. Don't worry. That's
Never mind.
That's why he's
I'm
here for it.
gatekeeping here now, man.
I'll stop talking.
He's showing he knows what he knows.
I know.
I'll stop
But that's
talking.
also, that's actually part of the Universal Century timeline.
See, his timeline.
It's like after Colony. It's like after Colony.
See, yeah, once I start hearing that
Universal
shit, yeah, isn't G Gundam like after Colony?
Is that
Colony?
Colin?
So? G Gundam is, I forget what. G Gundam's an alternate universe, but
That's the tournament one, right?
Yeah, it's the tournament one.
That's
That's
the
the shonen.
tournament arc. So
That's the
just
I
shonen.
tournament.
forget which
fucking-
one G Gundam is, but I know after Colony is
Is
Gundam
Wing?
X.
What about Wing?
Oh no, Wing might be after Colony.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you
and
got-
I've heard it in one of them.
Yeah,
I've only seen two of the
yeah,
shows.
I think Wing's after Colony, and then there's a bunch of shit. Then you got the very last one, which is Turn A, which has a cow piloting it with another human, which is hysterical. It's
Whoa,
great.
hold on.
Sir,
Hold up.
don't be so quick to brush over that.
So in the Turn A Gundam, have you ever seen the Turn A Gundam?
Is that
before?
the one
It's
with
the
the-
mustache? Yeah.
That's a cow piloting it?
No, so there's a
Oh.
human. There's the one black protagonist in
What
that
was it? Gundam what?
Gundam Turn A. You can't tell if the pilot is a man or a woman. First black person in like main characters.
And they always
Yeah.
give him white hair.
yeah, always white hair. And
Why
then
they
there's like,
blonde? That's it. Cisco. They probably
They,
thought
they cop out. It's like, we don't know how to do y'all hair, so let's
Exactly.
Exactly.
make it silver.
Yeah.
do something.
We gonna fuck it up.
I'm
We
gonna
gonna
do
fuck it
something-
up.
I'm gonna do
That
something-
was out of respect.
I'm
That was
gonna
out of
do
respect.
something special for you.
That you're gonna appreciate
You're gonna
decades
appreciate-
later.
Yes.
But there is a cow in that Gundam.
What do you mean? There's a cow?
Just type in Turn A cow.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
that sounds like a virus waiting to happen.
Just don't hit any sketchy links. Yeah, there's a cow. that
No,
goes-
something about those
Cow
war
or a
stories.
pig?
It's a cow.
Always got me. Apparently, like in Japanese culture, that was always like a through line for them. Was
Yeah.
like having the younger kids, like teenagers, be forced into war or dealing with a war or like
you know
like
what that
rising to the occasion.
You know what
for-
it is though, right?
Yeah.
So we got to meet Tomino. So that was one of the things that we did with Anime NYC.
Oh shit!
Yeah, told you, cow in the cow.
hell?
There's a fucking cow in there.
The whole damn god. That is nigga. Let me see. Blingy. What you got? Got the
So Tomino,
Jesus piece. He's a cow with a Jesus piece and a robot.
So that was a rope.
Yeah.
That was a rope tie.
so the creator of Gundam, Tomino, grew up in a post World War II era. So for him as a kid, that was his struggle of like getting to that point of realizing he knew that war was terrible. He's like, all right, I was a kid that was thrust into this years ago to see the after effects of it. So that's why we do see a lot of young people in Gundam, because it's more of a tradition at this point to just make them a young protagonist. But again, it's the most innocent person to see war is actually a child, because they won't know what's good or bad at that point, because then you can figure out which side do I go to. That's why I think Unicorn is an interesting watch, because he goes to both sides. So he starts on the Federation side, then goes to Neo Zeon as well too. Well, not specifically Neo Zeon, but he has interaction with them. So I'm going to spoil this one part to the series, but there was a scene where he kills someone who he was having dinner with. So he got to know this guy, and they had this whole conversation back and forth. They're like, yeah, they're saying like, yo, fuck the Federation. You guys keep putting us down. This is why we fight you guys as the Neo Zeon. And he's just like, but, you guys can work with us. He's like, we've tried. We fucking tried, but it's not working. And as they're piloting in this one battle, Benager doesn't know that he's in this suit. And they're fighting, something happens, he shoots off his gun and kills the guy. And he's just fucking broken, because he now has seen that I've had dinner with this person. I know he's not a bad guy, but we're on the separate sides of things. And that's, again, it goes back into that beauty of what the series is, and my love for like comics like that, like Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, is that, you could sit down with somebody and understand their own problem. Yeah, there are some bad people on certain sides that just are not doing it, but for the most part, most people who are in war or do bad shit are led by people who've gotten in their heads to do that. And the same thing with good people. There's always that middle ground to find, and I think that's a cool thing about Gundam, is that it shows that there are ways to come to middle ground. You have to stop being so dumb on both fucking sides and say, what's the best for us as humanity as a whole, and not just as me, I'm going to grab this and then drop a fucking comment on a planet.
It's like you're not just the MC right now.
Exactly.
There's a whole community around you.
Exactly.
Trying to figure this shit together.
You don't have to do it by yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. It takes a community to build each other up.
Yeah.
So I think that's the really cool thing about Gundam. And yeah, there's a lot of subtext to it. And like,
is Unicorn your favorite?
No. Double O's.
Oh, you said that before.
Double O's.
Yeah, I brought up Unicorn.
Yeah.
I watched one episode, which was like 45 minutes.
Yeah, those are long ones.
I'll get it. I might get back into it. I'm putting that on the list right now. I'm on this like I'm very much a fan of like original cells and like just like that really hand drawn, like it just feels like it's alive. And a lot of these older stuff. So I'm just going back and watching stuff 90s and back.
Yeah.
I know I have like Crunchyroll and some other stuff, but like I might add one of those to my list. Like if not Double O's,
I would say
Unicorn.
What you'll like the most probably is going to be Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Okay.
Yeah, go with Iron-Blooded Orphans because it blends very well the story and the mech fights as well too. So sometimes in like Double O it does get very long and drawn out.
Yeah.
But the one thing to note about Iron-Blooded Orphans is just that you can't see anybody as a good guy or bad guy in it. You have to keep your mind open coming to Gundam and saying, oh, if you like a character for the reason that you like him, then cool.
Oh, I fuck with Death Note. I know about turning around on a protagonist like, this nigga's evil. What am I doing?
I think people get too focused. Yo, it's a good. I'm telling you.
Let me guess, you love Full Metal Alchemist too, right?
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes, man.
Oh man.
Fuck
yeah.
We'll
talk about some traumas.
Truth. Literally, they have a protagonist who is true.
One of my 14. I'm not even at my 16th episode mark.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm already like, God damn, how much more?
Yeah.
How much more?
Oh, it gets so much. It's gonna.
Yeah,
you're gonna spiral. I'm telling you, man. Like there's that new like therapy.
You got through Promise Neverland. I think.
No, I didn't.
Promise.
Yo, you didn't. Never mind.
Promise Neverland.
The kid. You see a dead kid's body in the first episode, right? Yeah. I was done.
So the end of the first season of Promise Neverland is amazing.
Yeah.
The manga for Promise Neverland is amazing. The second season of Promise Neverland should be burnt, never seen fucking again, and they need to redo it and do the fucking manga because there's so much. Again, you're not gonna like because I know already that you don't. I'm talking. I might have to give you like a headspace.
You like Tokyo Ghoul?
Come on.
I'm
going for dark shit.
I mean, I like dark stuff, but damn,
gritty.
I like that. Really, what I like about shows like that, especially with Tokyo Ghoul, is that he does have redemption at the end through it. And the coolest thing about Tokyo Ghoul, I don't know if you guys know, is his hair, the way his hair changes throughout the series.
I watched only a few episodes, and like that one might be my extreme, Possibly, but like I've only heard nothing but good. I keep hearing like it's good, it's good. Like season 2 is crazy or like gets weird or some shit like
There's
that.
There's a
like,
few things if you don't read the manga if you're gonna watch the anime, because the manga and anime stray away from each other in like season 2, but in that series as well too. So like when you see the opening credit scene when he goes from having black hair to white hair, like he goes through a trauma that gives him that white hair. And throughout the rest of the series is that his hair starts to, go back and change and go back and change. And that's indicative of what the series is talking about, of him going through these traumas and trying to actually figure out who the fuck he is. Is he Ken Kaneki? Is he, he's
like a half ghoul, right?
Yeah, he's a half ghoul because he got like attacked by that chick Rize in the first episode.
Right.
But and like they put her organs in him, right?
Yes,
they blood transfusion.
Great idea. We see this thing that eats humans, so let's put the thing that eats humans inside of the human.
Damn, they RoboCopped him.
Yeah, exactly.
They RoboCopped the shit out of him.
Freeze. But yeah, I like those dark animes that also do sometimes have that lighter touch. So like Chainsaw Man, don't watch it. Just don't.
I've heard about Chainsaw Man. That one's been
looks
on
cool enough to hold my attention.
Yeah.
Looks cool enough.
If you think Tokyo Ghoul is gory and bloody, Chainsaw Man is gonna be like.
Does it have the slush sound effects? If it's
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
It's got chainsaw in the title. You know he's ripping through something.
He's
gotta be.
It's not just ripping through. I won't even say it. I've been reading it. I'm almost done with the first part of it, and it's insane.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's
pretty cool.
And again, I think a lot of the manga artists who do these darker animes just like have such a good take on like the human psyche. It's so cool, and this one is essentially I can give this away without like the main protagonist is just like, yeah, I'm somebody's pet, and I'm trying to see the world again and like live in this world normally. And it's a really cool concept of like, he's like, yeah, I'm trying to get these things to make my life better. And now I got fucked over because I'm like this chainsaw thing and I'm just killing devils.
You fucked with Rise of a Shield Hero. I still haven't finished that yet. So like that's like in that vein.
That's
I'm
very,
just like,
yeah.
This is like.
But that's not like a gory show.
Oh, so it's the gore.
It's like the excessive like.
Because Full Metal, because I remember we were watching the first couple episodes of Full Metal. And he was like, "Damn, I don't remember this nigga's leg dripping blood at the beginning." And he was like, "Wait, this was."
And then showing like his homunculus mom's heart beating outside. I'm like, all right.
So you're not a horror movie fan then?
Just it catches me off guard. It's like because I've seen Full Metal.
Yeah,
I've seen so many just different episodes. I just don't know how it's all linked.
So you watching Brotherhood or
original?
I'm
watching that because I remember when it was on Adult Swim. I would just see a bunch of stuff. Like I already knew about Scar. I knew about Mustang. I knew about other souls being bonded to like armor and shit. I know about their dad. The homunculus or the chimera, all this other shit. Knew about the little girl turn. I knew about this stuff.
Shout Tucker.
What
is that in the world?
I'm like, but what is all of it? Like, what is actually happening? Like, what is this? I know they look for the Philosopher's Stone. They don't find it. But what is the show? So now I'm watching it.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
I'm watching it. I'm like, cool, but like, wow.
But can I just say though?
Wow, very traumatizing.
They're both great shows in of themselves, but Brotherhood, I would go with.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I just made the conscious decision to be like, you know what? Let me do the original.
I told him do the original, wait like maybe 6 months or so, and then do Brotherhood.
You can skip through a few things in Brotherhood if you've seen the original. So
I figured that.
Yeah.
And also too because it's like it doesn't. One, the fact that it doesn't feel anything like a shonen, and also it deals with magic, but I know it's not magic. It's science.
It's science, man. It's science. It's science.
So as magic's the actual power in the show, I'm like, you got
there's
5 more episodes.
There's honestly no. I will say that's kind of the point of it as well too. So it's, this is a problem with the one that you're watching is that they don't get to that point. So Brotherhood gets into the point of like truth, which is like the door that. He's seen the stuff through. And that's where I think they do a much better job in Brotherhood explaining, because you're going to come at the end. You might come at the end of the regular Full Metal Alchemist and be like, it's kind of a dumb ending. Because then they had like the Shambhala movie.
They had to make a movie. They had
the Shambhala movie.
Yeah.
So the ending of that Brotherhood, or the ending of that Full Metal Alchemist was just like, for the time, it was really cool because we didn't have an ending to it. But I think the cooler ending is in Brotherhood because you really get to see the finale and just the completed arc of Ed and Alphonse. So I think that's a cooler one. That's why I always recommend to watch that one actually first and then go back and watch the other one, because you'll get the finality of of what happens to them, but then you get to see this, possibly what happens in this alternate reality to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah.
It came out with Adult
you're,
Swim. It was a
you're
sleeper
15
hit.
you're only 15 episodes into it, so I would say go watch Brotherhood and then come back to the original one.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
I've seen too much. I've
gone too far.
Yeah, I've seen too
Yeah.
much of Brotherhood. Spoilers like fights and certain scenes
Yeah.
like over
The fight scenes are pretty dope.
Fight
Like I
scenes
said,
are
it's like I said, it is more shonen type.
I'll leave it.
I think Gundam's definitely gonna be appealing to me because one of the things is like Draw and I, we realize like as we've been doing this podcast that we do both have different tastes in anime.
Yeah.
One thing we do agree on is that mechas are dope, and it was just like even though I didn't watch Gundam all the time, I he liked like Big O. I liked Evangelion and like Robotech and like something about a giant. So I was gonna ask you since you're on the ground floor, you in the trenches, you on Twitter, you talking to them. What is it about mechas that just like what have you found about mechas that get something about a giant robot? Is it just that or is it like?
For me, honestly, so I've never seen Robotech. So
Okay,
I've
it's one of my favorite. I got the games. I like it's old school, but like
Yeah, I haven't seen Robotech, so that's one that I haven't watched. But again, it goes back into like what. It's not just about the robots. When I was a kid, it was about the robots. It was really cool about that.
It's about the robots.
Yeah, but I love that you're able to mix in the robots that feel real. It's not just. I'm not a huge fan of G Gundam because it's too much of like rock'em sock'em robots with nothing into it.
perfect.
That's
Perfect show.
I'm looking for somebody to be scarred at the end of my Gundam series. But have you watched Bill Divers
What?
or Bill Fighters?
No.
You'll
what are you
fuck.
talking
You
about?
need to go
What are
watch
you
that.
talking
That's
I've
your
never heard.
That shit look like Mega Man T Warrior.
Build Fighters?
Bill Fighters.
Yeah.
Watch Bill Fighters. You'll enjoy Bill Fighters because it's got very much of a vibe of G Gundam, where they're customizing. It's like
Kids.
yeah, it's almost like a slice of life combined with
Gotcha.
Gundam. But
A
that's
little bit of Metabots.
yeah, a little bit Metabots,
Okay.
a little bit.
Alright.
But that one, I don't like Build Divers because that one was just like they're inside a computer.
It just looked corny.
Yeah,
Like
that one's corny.
overall, I'm like cool, but it looks a little
Yeah,
corny.
it was corny. But like Bill Fighters, they fuck up their Gundams. Like they're fighting them for real. So if your shit's arm breaks off, you gotta sand that shit down and fix that bitch
Oh,
up
wait,
real
these
quick.
are two different series.
Yeah, so they're essentially the same in like the same universe, I guess, but one uses actual Gundams and the other one only uses like their avatars of the Gundam. Fuck the avatars.
Is there like a SD Gundam in here too?
Yes,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
the one
SD
from,
was funny.
Tsunami, yeah.
Yeah.
That was all right. That's pretty cool. Wow. Yeah, it's like some
Which one is that
Promare
one?
type shit. This is the Bill Fighter one, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So that
yeah.
one, so there's an upgraded version of that one that the SD kit turns into like a real type Gundam too, which is fucking dope.
That sounds like Kamen Rider EX8. What they did, like the big headed.
Yep, and then
And then it would transform. I stayed away from that shit. Stayed away from that one.
But no, that series is really cool. I like that one.
The people, that's a pretty popular one. Gundam. Did you like SD Gundam on Tsunami?
Nah.
You didn't?
Nah, it was cute.
No, it was.
It was.
It was a fun.
It was
in between.
entertaining. I'll
It was
say
fun in between.
it's not that I
didn't mind.
didn't like it. It was entertaining. So like for me, if I'm watching a Gundam series, I not expect it to be, but like I want there to be stakes in it. So I consider the SD Gundam series something different from like Gundam properties. So it's
It gave me like Pokemon vibes. It
Yeah.
was just like Adventure of the Week, sort of, kind of. but, like,
exactly. So it's like very serial season or serial.
Captain. Yeah.
Captain. Yeah.
Gundam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one, those are cool. I set those aside from what like actual Gundam
What was
series
that
is.
block on Tsunami? Because I think it was that followed by Hamtaro, or it would follow.
It was just before the like real nigga hour, basically. It was like
Yeah, it's like,
if
why
you
did
came
they
home from
ease
school
you
early.
into it?
Yeah, if you came home from school early, you would like catch it. I was like, oh shit, Hamtaro. Like it's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah,
Hamtaro SD, and then like maybe like Bobo or Zatch Bell.
Yeah.
I think it was Zatch Bell because it like progressively got like a little bit more violent
Yeah, 'cause-
until you like hit like, all right, cool, we're beating the
5
shit out
o'clock.
of niggas
It's
right
5 o'clock.
Zatch Bell. They had.
Yeah.
I think in the second episode when somebody's book got burned and he disappeared.
Yeah, he's like, no.
Like they set the tone. It was just like, yeah, we're not playing. This ain't a game. This is not a fucking game.
It was the ice kid that he.
Yeah, he was
took
just like,
out.
oh my god. It was the second episode. He's like, wait, hold on, what's going on? Like,
Shot him with a bolt of lightning, and this kid's like, no.
he just faded out of existence.
Yo, that show's great too.
Nice, beautiful.
Oh man.
What are some other influences?
Some other influences. So I don't think we went back to the full mecha.
Well, let's just let's finish that
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
So how did you get to become nutype Tim?
Yeah.
Literally just building stuff and not doing the things that other people did on the platform.
So it was making that account for John Wick's
John Wick stunt double. And then I just started building stuff, and then
Were you like, is it mainly IG, obviously for showcasing, but
Well,
are you like Twitter active, stuff like that? Or
not really. It was just mainly IG. I did Twitter just because I was like, maybe somebody will care about what I think about. But like we were talking about earlier, it's like I still wanted to be a real person to myself outside of my Instagram, and this is also what kind of got me like a bit of hate too on the account. But one of my good friends is like a Playboy bunny, so I'd like go to like these Playboy bunny clubs and be like, yeah, Gundam builder, but I still hang out with people. They fucking hate me. They fucking hated me.
Why do you need this?
Yeah, they're like, fuck this guy. He's not building all the time. He's got shit on his stories, having fun. I was like,
Still having a life?
yeah,
Can't have that.
fuck him. He can't be having.
We did what it's saying. It's like, dog, I'm a person.
Yeah.
I love this shit, but also like, come on, let's be real.
Turn the TV off.
Turn the TV off.
Exactly.
Go
Let's
talk
go
to a
out into
human
the real
being.
fucking world. So it was funny. So I used to put out shit where I was like, yo, if you're a cool builder, come meet me at the bar and let's grab a drink. And like,
You shouldn't have said that. If you're a cool builder.
yeah. Look, I'm not gonna fucking sugarcoat shit. I don't want anybody fucking lame showing up to the bar being like, I'm a glass of water, and then just fucking talking to me about Gundam the entire time. I want to meet people who like my shit, but then we're gonna be like, damn, what's going on?
Right? So builders with social skills.
Exactly.
People with
I want to like talk about maybe Gundam for like 5 minutes and be like, hey, what's up?
That's what these these parties have been showing me, like the anime parties, as opposed to like, I love the cons. The cons are great, but also like that party essence. Like, oh, so you know how to order a drink at the bar?
Yeah,
Cool. That's what I like.
First
I
of
like
all,
that.
who-
I like that.
It's always very few.
Yeah.
People actually order a drink at a bar.
This is true. And then you know it's like, wait a minute, hold up, I'm in the wrong function.
Yes.
When we was at the one joint, it was just like, I think you and me are the only one who was like, we had like whiskey sours, and then chicken fingers everywhere. I was like, oh shit.
Land party. They were doing a fighting game tournament for. It was like a women's shelter.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, when we hop in, it was like it's girls only, son. I'm like, all right, okay. Where am I at? I thought we were playing games here. Like, yeah. Yeah. Nah, that was cool. Yeah, I went to Sailor Boom, and that was
Sailor Boom. I heard they
we'll save that for another episode.
yeah. So it's funny. We're actually so I'm working with another company too called the VGA, and we're actually trying to bring in Sailor Boom to do a party with us there too. So
Okay, bet.
Yeah, as hosts, man.
yeah. I invited you guys out to my build nights, man. You're always welcome to come out.
I'll pull up.
You guys know, pull
I'll
up. I've got one on next week actually, 22nd.
Bet.
It's Wednesday.
All right.
I booked them for up until 2023.
Chill.
We got shit every fucking month.
Hell yeah, bro.
And we're adding other things into it.
All right, new type Tim.
Let's go. We're out here, man. I'm trying to bring the cool builders out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The ones
Oh, yeah.
who know how to order a drink at a bar. You know? It's funny. Funniest story actually, and this is probably. I hope they watch this too, because I'll put it out there.
All
and
right,
watch
man.
it.
Don't be
I am that guy.
Yeah.
vindictive.
No. I'm not
Hey, we've already had people who've been airing shit.
No,
on the cast.
honestly.
Nigga, this is a safe space. Go
Yo,
ahead.
so it was funny.
Let it rip.
So we have this. There's when we were talking about the when we were talking about the drama of like the Gundam community. There's been literally one Gundam group that has tried to ruin
A group?
A group. You want to know what they're called?
Go ahead.
I want you to guess. Take an educated guess real quick. What do you think they're called?
Endless waltz.
That would be perfect if they were. I wish they were called that. This group of motherfuckers are called Team Awful.
Team off.
Team Awful.
Go on.
Team Awful. So
Who
I don't
pilots?
know what
Who pilots Team Awesome?
I've never been in a situation where people threatened to fight me over model kits before.
See, that's the energy I don't like being around. In New
Yeah.
York. I'm like, I'm a very calm person, but I want to slap the shit out of you.
Yo, somebody threatened to beat the shit out of one of the guys that works for me. I was just like, are you kidding me? Like,
See, that's the shit that's like, all right, where you pull some Wale shit. Like, where you at? Like,
Yeah.
It was in the wrestling stadium on crutches. Like, where you at?
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. So these guys like started hating Project Nutype, and every time we would get a new partner, one of their guys would email them and say like, Tim's a piece of shit, don't work with this guy, this guy's awful. So recently with the VGA, they went and emailed this dude Brandon, my boy Brandon, and he's like, one, why the fuck would I work with somebody named Team Awful? And then two, he's like, you literally told me that these people were going to do this, so I was aware that they were going to do it. And he's like, I looked you up beforehand, so if I didn't want to work with you. And that's one of the biggest things about the American Gundam community, to bring the story to like a reason for it, is that the American Gundam community literally tramples on itself of progress. Like, I'm not doing like the most...
Whoa. You telling me the American Gundam community is crabs in a barrel?
Oh, really?
Crab bucket mentality.
Is that
like
other
us to keep
things
us
out,
down?
are there other things out there like that?
They just grab you with the nippers.
Yeah, they pull me down. They take the tweezers applied. They're like dragging me
Pull you
down.
down, sand down the surface so you can't grip it. They can't.
But you would think so. Like the anime community, I can see a little bit more with like specifically anime, just based off like sub versus dub stuff.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we're all building the same
They
shit.
don't paint to original colors.
That's a sore topic
You
for
hit a-
certain
you hit
people.
a nerve.
You hit a nerve there. I've had people
God.
just like, why would you
Yo.
paint it that color? Like, because it's my fucking paint, and I decided that's
You're not supposed to draw out the line.
Yeah, like, what do you think? How dare you put an extra line there? It's like, motherfucker, shut the fuck up. I put my money and time into this.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But it's like with teams like that, a lot of them come through and they're just like, well, you should be doing it this way. And we're going to pretend like we actually don't care, but then we're going to start doing like shady shit. They did an event the same day that we did one time, Team Awful guys. And we charge for our events because we obviously have to pay for the space that we're in. They got their shit for free. No one showed up. People opted to literally pay for an event and show up for.
Sometimes that ticket shows that like, no, you're getting quality,
And
or
that-
you're gonna at least be in a space that you feel
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So that's what we try to really like do at Project Nutypes, is that what I'm trying to do is bring together a community that, again, I use a cool builder thing as a joke, but I want people who want to be sociable there. And not only is it like a building event, it's a place for you to make friends, for you to say like, yo, you're cool too. Let's go out and grab a drink after this.
Create a dialogue. Yeah. That's
exactly.
what all this nerd stuff's supposed to be about.
Yeah.
It's just like why we acting like we gotta stay hidden
Building
about
bridges.
this. Like,
Yeah.
like-
So it's like everybody's like burning bridges in all these communities for no reason, when it's a simple thing. We all like shit. Yeah, we're not going to like certain people in it. Then don't hang out with them. Don't hang out with them.
People don't realize.
Yeah.
You gotta grow out of high school.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
yes.
bro.
The world turns. Young
World
man.
is a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
big
Yeah.
place. And it's,
The world turns.
yeah, it's one of those interesting things where it's just like, I never thought that I was going to have to deal with, I knew I'd have to deal with certain shit, but I didn't think I'd have to deal with like, some motherfucker every time I get a new sponsor, like,
Gundam purists.
yeah, these Gundam purists, and
Like-
some of them not, and it's weird because they're all the exact same type of person.
I bet.
They all looked alike. They're all these guys with like piercings. They all listen to heavy metal.
Fingerless gloves.
It's all the goth kids. Like, there's some really cool goth kids, and I love, like, exactly, it's the
Industrial god.
under the bridge by the river.
So you talking about they were in the closet about Gunpla in high school as well?
What? No way. But yeah, no, that's one thing that, like, for Project Nutypes we're really big on, is that my team, I make sure that all of them were social. I got all of them really fucked up when we first did our interview. I was like, if I can't like you drunk, I don't want you working for me.
Right.
And if you can't hold your shit when you're drunk, you're not working for me.
Ooh.
There were people who...
You don't want nobody messing
Yeah.
around.
Exactly.
Not messy.
If we're going to have events where I want to put alcohol in there, I need to know that you can get hammered at this event and still do your fucking job.
God damn.
Yeah.
Like,
Stress testing.
yo,
Yeah.
you got... But I think you also find the truest form of a person when they are drunk. You know, you could see how respectful they are to people. You could see how they feel about themselves and they feel about you. So for me, I'm like, yeah, I was working at a bar at the time. I'm like, here's a drink. Keep drinking. Keep going.
There you go.
And I'm hammered too.
I'm
like
playing devil's advocate. Yeah,
play devil's advocate with it.
Hell yeah.
And like to me too, which was really cool, was that one of the bars that we're at, they only hired models. So I wanted to see how focused people were when I was telling you certain things about this business and what we're doing. There were a few people who were just like, did not listen. It went in one ear, out the other, because they were staring at ass while I'm trying to talk about, like, we're going to do some cool shit here. So those people didn't make it, and some of those people joined some of those groups that weren't happy about it too. Where I'm like, yeah, you know my plan.
Renegades.
Yeah, they thought that they were gonna start this group, steal my idea, and they were just like, oh, it's a lot harder than we thought it would be to do it.
Yeah.
So it's
staying focused, connecting, like getting past, because it's weird because once you become part of a community, you do get that like sort of infighting.
Yeah.
But it's like, why are we here? We're here to. It's either like from an entertainer standpoint, it's like it's about the artist, it's about the people, people in the community. That's who I want to connect to, and I don't really care about none of this other stuff.
My entire team's interesting because, like, for me, I don't like people who just yes me to death. Like, I can hire a bunch of people who are my fans that were just like, oh, you love Gundam, I love Gundam, yeah, Tim. Like, we'll do everything you say. I'm like, that's not worthwhile to me. That's not gonna build shit for me. It's gonna like turn me into a megalomaniac and we're gonna fuck everything up every week. So I specifically chose people who were so different from me. Like my boy Eddie works at SNS. I'm not into sneakers like that, but he has that tap on that type of culture that I don't know. I need to have people teaching me things about communities that I don't know. My essential vice president, he is an architect where I'm like, all right, cool. Then he'll have a really solid understanding about builds. And he's not like a douchey purist, but he's a purist in the sense of like how he builds and has that understanding. So I'm like, I need someone like you to keep me level. And that's my entire team of people who are in such specific areas, but we all come back to, like we said, we have that one love for things. Like you guys, like you said, you have different tastes from him, but at the same time, you're still coming back down to the point that you enjoy something. And that's what for me right now, the big thing with Project Nutype was like the first 2 years was very much about, I was like, we're not going to make jack shit here. We're not going to make any money for a while, guys. Like, I will put all the money down, but what I focused on was branding. I told my team, every single one of them, as soon as we walked in, I was like, yo, we're going to get a Bandai sponsorship, we're going to get a Kotobukiya sponsorship, and I will do that in 6 months. I did it in 2. And they were like, oh, fuck, we didn't really believe this guy, but shit, he did it.
Right.
And everything I tell my team, I was like, we're going to fucking do. And we hit the nail every head. So it's like when I tell them, I was like, I'm going to make you guys money, but it's going to take a little bit of time. We focus so much on branding that people thought we were like making a shit ton of money. I'm just like,
hysterical.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm fucking in debt right now.
Dog, nigga, we in my room right now. We are in my room right now, my nigga. It's like yo.
And that's the thing, like, people started saying at one point, like, some of the guys in that group, they're like, oh, he's scamming people at the events. Like, I'm literally giving all the fucking money back to the space. I'm not taking anything.
Yeah.
And for us, it was really cool. What the biggest culmination was, so Anime NYC is one of our sponsors for our company.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, shout out to Peter, shout out to Anime NYC. If you guys
if you can plug us in with a room.
Well, I was gonna ask you guys at the end of this, but I can ask you now. Do you want to be on my panel that I have?
Hell yeah! We already got the passes, baby. We already
go. There we go. So I have a panel.
So
I'm actually doing a panel. So I'll back that up for a second. So I met Peter at about, I want to say now, maybe I've known Peter for a while. It's been maybe like 3 or 4 years now. And Peter, I had no clue who he was. I remember I was working a booth for Bandai, and this is before Project Nutype. I'm still Gundam NYC, and I'm working with like some of the big wigs over at the distribution company. And I walked up, and they were just like, "Oh shit! Like he's coming up. Not me, this other guy." And he's like, "Hey, I really like the stuff that you do, Tim. Here's my card. Let's work together." And then dude just walked off with like the big wigs of like Bandai standing there, and they go, he didn't. They were just like, he didn't fucking say anything to us. He just gave you a fucking card and walked away. What the fuck? And I was like, I don't even know who this guy is. Start talking. I email him. Guy's the fucking one who created Anime NYC, asking me to grab coffee with him because he's a fan of mine. And I was like, holy shit, this is really cool. And like without Peter Peter Tatar, like, dude is fucking amazing. Like, I've asked for wild shit before, and he's just like, yeah, let's see if we can do it. He was like, what do we do for the Gundam 40th anniversary? And we were grabbing, we were at Gotan over in Midtown, and I just threw it by him. I was like, what if we try to get Tomino, the creator of Gundam, there? He's like, great idea, let's do it.
Let's run it.
I was just like, I sat there, I was like, that was kind of a joke. But he's like, yeah, we're going to get Tomino. And then we're going to give you a competition so we can get Tomino to judge the competition too. And that was a whole saga where we were just going back and forth, like Japan, talking to like Tomino's people. And he's like, they're like, Tomino fucking hates America. He doesn't want to come. We're like, yo, it's the 40th anniversary. We've got great stuff here. And I was building out a competition that I actually knew was going to get shut down by Bandai. But my whole thing was that Bandai does the GBWC, which is a world championship for builders. Mm-hmm. Winner gets to go to Japan. And I was like,
who builds the fastest or like
no, who builds like the best in the world. Like, I'm talking like
like craftsmanship, like how well you put it together, or like
I build well and I'm good at building, and these guys would make I look at my stuff like I'm a piece of shit. Like, I'll show you one guy. He's a friend of mine out in Korea. He built this Endless Waltz fucking diorama.
That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
Anything Endless Waltz was just glorious to look like. Just
like some like a old paintings, like the old
Sistine
Chapel shit, creation of Adam type shit.
When we talk about glorious, this is probably one of the most glorious pieces I've seen. Next to my boy Gundam Nerd, who I'm going to shout out, first black winner for the GBWC ever.
Hell yeah, he went over and represented. I know it. I know he did.
So a lot of these guys are like building for years, especially in America, to do one build. Mm-hmm. This man was like, he is the epitome. He's literally Escanor as a fucking black man. The guy has pride out the ass.
Who's Escanor?
From Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a really cocky guy with a big ass accent.
The mustache
dude?
Yeah,
you can't fuck with me.
Yeah.
Like, so with him, he was just like, yo, I'm going to win GBWC. I've never entered the competition before. I've got 6 months to build something. Dude came out with his fucking piece. First place. I'm going to Japan. First black winner. Dude killed it. One of my favorite people in the community. But yeah, so it was just, we started working with, as I find this piece too to show you guys, but we started working with, Tomino's people, going back and forth. And for me, I was like, all right, Bandai's probably going to try to move their shit from, what do you call it? New York Comic Con. I was like, all right, if they move GBWC, I'm going to position my company and my shit to make sure that I'm on that panel board, and we're going to do fucking shit, because essentially we have, like, in the Gundam sense, we have run of what we want to do for Gundam stuff with Peter. Peter comes to me and he goes, what do we do for Gundam this year? I'm like, this is what we should do, Peter. This is what we should do for mech. And it's really fun. He has a lot of trust in what I do. So, like, for the panel, he came to me. I asked him, I was like, yo, Peter, can I get a booth? Can I get a panel this year again? He's like, yeah, sure. No questions. Like, the dude is amazing. Literally no fucking questions asked. He was like, yeah, sure, here you go.
Hell yeah.
I looked around. I was like, yo, thank you, man. He's like, you got to stop saying thank you. You do great work. I was like, thanks, Peter. I literally, like, sighed, because I'm like, that's like $2,000 that I don't have to spend right now on something like that. And to me, like, people, he's, I believe Peter's, like, Jewish or something like that. But, for him to have faith in a black guy like myself, to be like, yo, let's give that black kid everything he wants. We know he's going to do big stuff.
Yeah. The Jews is all right.
Yeah.
The Jewish people.
Yeah,
he's
man.
a cool dude.
Come on. You gotta.
But more for the.
Gotta give it to him, man. They
just given the sense of who he is. And it was really nice, like, to have that guy be out there and, like, kind of give us that amazing, like, feel too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that we came to were just like, working with, like, a lot of Japanese companies, they didn't have trust in us. So for this dude out of Queens, this little guy out of Queens, to be like, here you go. You got this. I have faith in you to do it. We know that you have that. I think that is such a beautiful thing in that part too. That's why we're doing the panel that we're doing, which is going to be diversity in anime spaces, of showing that there's so many people like us that you guys do podcasts. We have one, I have a cosplayer. I have Cindy who does Sonic Boombox, if you know those parties. So I want to showcase every part of it to say, there are people out there that are doing all this stuff that's so different that there's no point to what we were saying before of just saying like, why are we crabbing in the barrel?
Why are we crab? Yeah.
There's something for everybody. There's a section there that everybody can kind of eat. There's enough food on the
There's
table.
enough. Yeah.
Plenty.
There's enough food on the table.
As long as Japan keeps sending over the goods, baby,
Exactly.
we'll chop it up, break it down,
But even
bust
still-
it, bag it.
But
Come
even
on,
still, though, we're seeing more,
women.
we got more Americans now doing anime too. So,
Step on that, flip that.
but
Like that. Delicioso.
yeah, no, it's.
Yeah, man.
I think it's really interesting the way that anime is going to be kind of positioned in the next few years. So I think the space that we're all working in right now, we have the potential to do what Japan is doing at bigger numbers because Americans spend more per capita in general.
Yeah.
Do we?
You know, exactly. So to that point, it was just like to have a niche space like this to be out there. I think that's a really cool thing. Like to start out, and again to have people that trust you to do it too, which is really dope.
Hell yeah, man.
I've almost found that piece too. So I'm like looking at my phone.
No, you good. No, yeah. No, it's been like informative because it's just like we're all in that same space. It's different brands of what we're doing to an extent, but it's all like everything's all connected and just trying to figure out like just hitting the nail on the head on like this is the community I want to contact and like keep putting out good content. Yeah.
We share 5 followers. Like we get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we
get it.
Yeah.
So he built that and then customized it as its own layout.
Yeah, he's got like pieces popping out of that book.
Yeah.
It is insane.
And that's actual models.
Yeah, those are actual models, and that's an actual book that he modeled for models. It's insane.
Nice.
It's fucking crazy. Like the time that they put into it.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Hell yeah, man. That's what's up.
Yeah. So it's really crazy. It's really interesting to see how the work that people put into a lot of the stuff too. And that's for me. That's one huge thing that I really want to bring to
G collectors
to sort of model kit building and sort of the Gundam right now in general. Before I move on to like my next project that I want to do, a project nutype. But I really want to start bringing in that art form to it. Bringing in what does it mean to actually paint? Are these guys actual artists?
To compete.
No.
In a Gundam, like overall, like that's one. As soon as you said compete, I'm like, how do you make that a competition?
Yes.
But then saying that is like,
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah. That.
Show your skills.
And to
your
that
imagination. Like,
exactly. And to that point, to take it even further, I'm trying to get these guys paid for being artists. Why are you going to put like a lot of the Korean builders, a lot of Koreans, Japanese, Chinese, they're selling their pieces in art studios. But here in America, it's like, it's weird with a lot of these builders because they're just like, I don't want my hobby to be my job. But I'm like, if you're putting in all this work, you might as well start selling this stuff because what is it doing just sitting around?
Yeah. Every day I wake up and I turn my computer on, I'm like, I'm still talking about anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To hopefully see $1. I'm like, wow, that's what my life is led to. Like,
but you know what? I think way too many times people start to think like, oh, I'm losing the integrity of liking something if I try to take the dollar. You can choose what you want to do. I don't work with Bandai anymore because I don't like some of their business practices that they have. And I still choose to use Bandai products and do it down that route. But I'm now trying to take what I assume model kits to be in a whole different vein, in a different light. I want that more, not really like streetwear, but I don't really mind having the scalpers in the industry. Because I'd already told people years ago, I was like, this shit's going to happen. Yeah. When they came out with that Bape Gundam, I was like,
a Bape Gundam?
There's a Bape Gundam. Bape RX-78, there's a Masquerade to it too. They're coming out with the Supreme one. And I was like, as soon as I saw that Bape Gundam, I was like, I'm going to buy everything I fucking see. Because right now, I'm now going to have to worry about the scalpers because it's becoming mainstream.
They got the Gundam Unicorn Dunks. I think that came out this week.
Yep. I'm iffy on them. I don't like the...
They look cool as collector items.
Yeah.
Actually wearing it's a bit much.
I like the Banshees over the...
Oh yeah, darker
the darker ones over the unicorn ones. I'm like,
Yeah, it's interesting to see.
Yeah, I think they could be done better. But as for the first ones with Nike, I think great. It's got to start somewhere, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, they did do a slam dunk Jordan.
Yeah, so they did those, and they also have Reebok ones as well too, but more so like I'm think those were just colors to them. I'm talking like there's a fucking V.
Gundam shoe.
You know that
Yeah.
that is based. It's not just a recoloring like the Reeboks.
Yeah.
A reskin, it's not.
It
yeah.
is Gundam in your fucking face. Like, that shit has the psycho frame in it. The what do you call it? The swoosh you could take off, put new swooshes on it and shit
Yeah,
like that.
the Megazord pack. I think Reebok did.
I don't think I saw
Yeah,
that.
they did a Power Rangers pack, 5 shoes, and like
Adidas did like the Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
Z
I was gonna say
joints.
that. Yeah,
they did
Yeah.
Naruto too.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
those to me were like the old Gundam stuff. So that's what I consider like more of like a nuanced like shoe collab with them.
Yeah.
This one I just felt like they just went, we got it. We could do shoe. They literally have a new model kit coming out with the fucking shoes on them.
Oh hell! Oh, that's dope.
That's
That's
hysterical.
dope. That's dope.
It might be a fixed figure, but it's a SD unicorn SD Banshee with the sneakers.
Well,
Hell yeah! It's finally melded, baby.
when is this Supreme Straw Hat going to drop? When is that going to drop?
Do we know there was Naruto and Gucci? There was Naruto and Gucci.
For real? All right,
Michael
that's
B.
a-
I
That's
think
enough of it.
Michael
No, he
B-
did Coach.
Was that Coach that did Naruto?
It was Coach.
Oh, it was
He
Coach
did-
that
he did
Naruto.
Coach,
Okay,
yeah.
but I thought Gucci did.
If anybody, it was like probably JoJo or One Piece. I remember what they did. Saw like a lookbook of One
Who
Piece.
did One Piece?
I think Gucci did a lookbook.
Gucci did One Piece. Okay, I mixed those two up.
Yeah,
then.
it's a bunch of them, man.
Yeah, Gucci did One Piece. Yeah, that was pretty dope. That was kind of cool.
Word.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. Tell them where they can find you at. When's the next
Yes, you
next
guys.
build off event?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find me at nutype Tim or Project Nutypes. Our next build event is September 22nd, and then the one after that is October 20th. You can find those tickets on resobox.com. $5, good time. We actually have kits being sold there as well too, so you don't even need to bring a kit or tools because you can buy them there. And yeah, it's a good
Hell
time.
yeah.
Really good time.
Hell fucking yeah.
Yes.
Nutty Tim, everybody.
Nutty type
Nutty
time.
Tim.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
I'm
New
a roll.
type Tim, as always. I'll be smooth, man. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, remember Twitch, YouTube. Subscribe to
Mm-hmm.
that Patreon.
Linktree/Negro Jump.
All of that good
All
stuff.
of it, man.
It's all in there.
It's out there.
It's all in there, everybody. It's all in there.
Yeah.
Y'all have an
Till next
excellent
time.
lunch break.